So I have a lot of interesting things brought to my attention over the span of me being a commentary YouTuber part-time, and oh boy howdy, when we get into the context of this situation, yeah, this is going to be, well, honestly, not surprising if you're familiar with Verlisify. Let's get into this. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and beautiful people of the Crasher community? How are you guys doing today? We're back with a new video on the channel. Thank you very much for tuning on in, you absolute legends. And not only is this going to be an episode of awful Twitter takes, but it's also going to double as a call out to Verlisify, because once again, he ends up inserting himself in business that he has no business commenting on, and he ends up making the absolute most asinine takes possible. Now, I typically wouldn't even really care all that much if it was just the usual Verlisify bullshit. I would clown it behind the scenes because I get tagged in this stuff a lot, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's just Verlisify being Verlisify. But this right here involves something that is, quite serious, so let's get underway with the context here. Now, for clarification, some of the stuff that we are going to be talking about here from this point on might be distressing to some viewers, so I want to put that, I guess, trigger warning out there. But this is where it all originates from. It's from this thread by King Big Joey, and it breaks down as follows. So I've finally calmed down a bit, and I want to share what happened today, because oh boy, it is a wild occupation. Get comfy, because this thread is gonna be long. So I was sitting in my car editing the video of me screaming at the snow to where a woman comes up to my window and asks for a ride home. Little side note here, my campus is not in a super safe part of town. It's near downtown, which is majorly sketchy. So with this in mind, I say I can't do that. She then says she sprained her ankle, and then after hearing that, I folded and nervously said I'll give her a ride. Apparently, she is a fellow student and she is older than me. I won't say the age, but I will say she's 4 to 8 years older. It started out kinda chill. We were just talking about school while I was panicking and having panic attacks. I even told her that I'm having panic attacks, and she told me not to panic. Shockingly, didn't help. While panicking, she started asking me weird questions. She asked me if I have a girlfriend. I said no. She asked why. I just said it's complicated and wanted to leave it at that. She then asked me, I shit you not, if I've ever gotten use context clues here. Surprised and creeped out, I said I don't want to talk about that. Because talking like that to someone who is clearly uncomfortable is always okay, am I right? Christ, what the hell's wrong with people these days? She then asked if I was still a virgin. Again, I say I'm not comfortable talking about that. She even said she'll change that and starts rubbing my leg. I then flat out say, stop that, I'm not comfortable with it. She then stopped and not much happened after that. I dropped her off and immediately told myself, I'm never fucking doing that again, holy shit. I hate that something like that happened. In a situation, I always think of the worst happening so I can mentally prepare myself, and would you believe if I said I thought? This could have gone 1,000 times worse. I'm now just upset that this happened. It's like, I don't got the words. Sorry for talking about this, I just needed to vent. I love you guys so much. Thank you for reading. Stay safe out there. Love you guys. Okay, so after revisiting and actually reading aloud what happened, this right here beyond infuriates me. This right here actually kind of deserves its own video, and I just want to say to King Big Joey, I am deeply sorry you had to experience that, and I really, really hope that you are at least doing better now than you were when the situation happened. It is never okay, under any circumstance, to do what this individual did, what this stranger did to this individual that was just simply doing an act of kindness. You wonder why people don't do acts of kindness as much anymore? Because of creeps like this. Like, not only is it really inappropriate to conduct yourself to someone that you don't even know, and you know what, even if you knew that person, it's still not appropriate, and what was highlighted here was revolving around sexual assault, because what took place was not consensual. There were very uncomfortable conversations being had, and it led led to physicality. So you do the math on what took place there, but my mind is pretty goddamn made up. And now enter the king of bad takes, at least as far as the Pokemon community is concerned, Verlisify. He decides to chime in by saying, this isn't even a long thread and nothing crazy happened. The replies are over-exaggerating too. To which Joey says, I left out a lot of details, so yeah, it isn't as long as I thought it would be. The fact that this seems like a normal occurrence to you is borderline concerning. Verlis says, why would it be concerning? Also a complete lie to say normal occurrence to me. Almost everyone I know has had something similar happen to them at least once. Strangers awkwardly coming on to someone is a byproduct of going outside and being in social situations. The way you say people are over-exaggerating and how you say nothing crazy happened makes it sound like this isn't a new occurrence for you. Bro, if strangers coming onto you is just a part of going out, then that's actually concerning. That shouldn't be a normal occurrence. Verlis says, anyone that goes outside and interacts with people enough will have weird things happen to them every once in a while. It happens once or twice after being in many social situations. Your friends laugh with you and move on, not crazy. And obviously, unsurprisingly, in Verlisify's initial reply to this, we have people not only obliterating him, like just completely BTFOing him, but we can see that his take was not very well received, you know? Like, it's just absolutely crazy to me that he thinks that he can, you know, get away with making takes like these, especially in situations that revolve around, and I kid you not when I say this, sexual assault. And here's also another big thing that should be highlighted is the fact that King Big Joey said that he left out a lot of details. So those details right there could be even worse than what was already publicized. But wait a second, there's more to this. King Big Joey says, agree on that, but it shouldn't be just written off as like a, yeah, it happens type thing. Like, it's actually concerning. And expanding Verlisify's reply, he says, this wasn't a concerning event, and it being wild is an overstatement. Someone came onto you and the worst it got was awkward. Happens to everyone. Hookup culture is a thing, and many people don't have a problem with it. They will fish for a good time and often get the response they are looking for. Someone that much older grew up in a much different, more social, less online time as well. We then have a reply to Verlisify saying, if the roles were reversed, you would be saying otherwise, to which Verlisify says, what does that even mean, laughing my ass off? To which King Big Joey says, if a man acted in a creepy way towards a woman in the way it happened to me, would you still be saying all of this? To which Verlisify says, that's not the story I'm commenting on though. You swap the genders and the story changes completely. There are differences in how men and women come onto each other and the perception of it. There is inherently more threat to a man putting their hand on a woman and saying, you a virgin, than the other way around. Same for willingness, since 90% of the time a college dude will accept the advances of a woman. Okay, I think my brain just became sewage water after reading that. Are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck is this, Verlisify? What type of responses are these? First of all, you know exactly what that means. Don't even try to play the fool with everyone here. Quit stalling. You then decide to deflect away and pivot from directly answering what King Big Joey had asked prior, and you're trying to say that he's changing the story and stuff like that. No, he's asking a hypothetical which relates to the story that King Big Joey had put out there for everyone. And yes, while there may be differences in how men and women come onto each other and the perception of it, when it's unwanted, it's not okay. When it's not consensual, it is not okay. Get that through your thick fucking skull. I am going to make something very crystal fucking clear. Consent is important. Consent is needed. What took place here in this situation was not consensual. I repeat, not consensual. And here's the deal. I get that social situations are not always going to be positive. You're going to have negative interactions. That's unfortunately a part of life, okay? And I think we can all be in agreement on that point there. But just because something does happen doesn't mean it should, okay? Just because something is a part of life, i.e. bad things, doesn't make it right. And I say bad things as a way to encapsulate the numerous amounts of bad things that happen to people that are never okay. I'm gonna end this video with one final piece of advice. I know, Verlisify, you think you're God in your mind and that you are absolute perfection and that you can quite possibly do no wrong, even though there are years of documented proof showcasing otherwise, which you refuse to acknowledge and you ignore. But if you ever try to humble yourself one day and take a piece of advice, well then, hope you take this advice. If you got nothing of value to say, shut your ass. Because somebody like you has diarrhea of the mouth and constipation of the brain. Well, that is if you have one.